What's the problem? They don't like me? They don't like the turtles? What's the problem?
I don't think I belong. I don't think I belong here. I don't think I belong here. I don't think I belong here.
She was born on December 8th, 1980, at 10:50 p.m., the exact time Mark David Chapman killed John Lennon. For me, though, that's just a coincidence. All I care about is that she was born at that exact moment. Her name, Lily Chou-Chou. Genius, or rather, Genesis. The ether personified. From Philia. Hey there, friends and family. This is Dan. I'm here at the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. It is Saturday, January 24th, 2026. It is microWAVE episode number 1. microWAVE is a quick concept about quick casual guys doing quick casual things like rewatching movies and talking about movies they've already talked about on the podcast. And I'm joined here by my friend and my co-host, Adam.
I feel like I've been warmed up by microWAVE right now. This is like the second time I've done this morning, so I do feel warmed up.
You look like a Pop-Tart.
You look
like you've been reheated.
Dan heats his Pop-Tarts in the microwave. That's why he's so sad. It's a limp ass fucking limp ass Pop-Tart.
I'm joined here by my co-host Joey.
Promoted to co-host, not only a guest anymore. What do you think about that, Adam?
Yeah, you know, you're gonna supplant me. I've been saying this all along. Dan's he's gonna get rid of me one of these days.
Yeah, like I'm the guy he told you not to worry about. That's all.
Oh man,
good to be here.
I say co-host because you're the bella the ball, Joey. The bella the ball.
This is my shit.
Years ago, 2 years ago, something like that, we talked about Lily Chou-Chou, a dramatic 2001 Japanese movie. And for some reason, we didn't have Joey on. This was before Joey would come on the show. And we reviewed it. And I listened to that episode again, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought. It wasn't as bad as I thought. The worst thing was at the very end of the podcast, I said it would be hard to rewatch because it's just like, you know, emotional violence porn. And so I didn't give it a heart. That was the harsh thing. And then we just threw like, you know, numerical grades at it. We don't do the numerical grades anymore. I think we both gave it 3.5, which to me does seem a little low. Seems a little low now in retrospect. But that's why we don't do star ratings anymore.
I do feel like that was the catalyst of my ire for the 3.5. Damn, like I'm not going to rate movies anymore.
There's a few incidents we had on the show, and it all involved 3.5 ratings, which people thought was too low. I don't remember what we gave the Future movie. Back to the Future, Canadian edition. Do you remember, Adam? Was it 3 stars?
We got to go back to the future, eh? What are you talking about? Back to the Future Canadian edition.
No pedophiles on my block.
Yeah, no,
I mean, there's not much. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Adam, my co-host.
I'm good with not doing, numbered ratings anymore because, like, I'm above that, you know? I just feel better than that. I don't know. There's all these podcasts around, and they sit around. They struggle over. You know, they have struggle sessions over. Is this a 5.5 out of 6? And I'm like, buddy, did you like the movie? That's all I want to know.
And the movie we're talking about this week is all about Lily Chou-Chou. Joey, why is this movie important to you? Why did we want people to watch it? Why are you coming on this show to talk about it with us again?
I don't know exactly. It just, I can feel the ether when I watched it the first time. I discovered this it was like weeks after a very long-term relationship ending. So I was in my feels anyway, and I'm just browsing around looking for stuff. I think it was on Tubi, and I just put in like Japanese movies or whatever else, because Tubi is one of the few places you could type something in and you actually get back what you fucking look for. And this popped up, and it seemed like I read the description, and I'm like, how do I not know about this? Okay, so I turned it on, and was pretty hooked from the beginning. I mean, the sounds of those keyboards, it took me way back real quick. It's a 2001 movie, so set in 1999, and I was, I wasn't 14, which is what the age of they are through most of this movie, but I was born in 83, so I was 15, 16 in 99, 2000, high school years, and that had its own barrel of problems as well. I'm sure we all remember high school so fondly. But this era, when you still were listening to music on a CD player, when you might have only been talking to people on a message board or through IMs, if you were, lucky, if you had the internet at that time, even around here. And it just really resonated with me. It's a fucked up movie, and, weird movies, fucked up movies, things that are different that you don't see, I always like, just because, it's new stuff. And overall, I think it was really just the relationship the characters had with the music and the coming of age and everything else. It's pretty extreme in parts, it's not the average 14-year-old's life, but there are definitely big sections where you can relate to the figuring out the world and feeling all alone.
Yeah, I guess I have a note in here somewhere about CD Walkmans. I miss CD Walkmans, but around the same time when I had a CD Walkman, I was listening to Good Charlotte and Green Day, not Lily Chou-Chou. You love Lily Chou-Chou. You love Sal Yu, right? Isn't that right, Joey?
Yeah,
you listen to this music independent from this movie a lot.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack of this really wrapped me up when I first heard it, and then she has a bunch of other albums. I like her earlier stuff because it's a little more similar to this than it is to. It becomes a little more, I don't know, electronic, whatever. And I haven't really given the full catalog a great, I'd go through and listen to stuff once and be like, oh, okay, But overall, I mean, I really like her voice. I think they did a phenomenal job in picking her out. I think the story was they had saw her at a nightclub or something with a band and just pretty much like, hey, you want to be in this movie? And they wrote the music and stuff specifically for her. So this wasn't a band. What was the musical producer's name here?
Takeshi Kobayashi?
Yeah, Kobayashi. And, I think he wrote all the words and stuff and the parts. But I thought she just did a really great job. She has this haunting voice.
Oh my God. Wait. Lily's music is ghost written?
That's what they say. Which they play on that in the movie too, which is kind of funny,
Yeah, I was calling back to that scene where they bully that one guy who's just all weird. He's like, you guys don't like what was the band called that Lily was in before Lily Chou-Chou?
Philia was the first band.
Philia. Oh, that's why. Maybe that's why Philia is Philia. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it is. And I forget what the guy that they don't like, Kamasatsu or something like that was his name, or that's a town. In
Yeah,
Japan,
another musical collaborator. Yeah.
They had that argument of well, he's still writing the music or his new stuff, and they were like, the early stuff, he's like, that's not of the ether. That's not the ether.
I guess let's start up here at the top. I wanted to read this really, really crazy IMDB summary. So we do this on the show quite often. This is how I frame the discussion as I read the little summary for IMDB. It's a little blurb. I don't know what's up with this one, but it has misspellings. I don't know. It says, the problematic lives of a teenager students for whom the singer Lily Chou-Chou's dreamy music is the only way to escape an alienating, violent, and insensitive society. I don't know if it was maybe a Japanese to English translation gone wrong. Adam, go ahead and read me that first tagline.
First tagline is, if you scream and no one hears you, she's there for you.
Pain can take you in prison. The ether can set you free.
Friendship.
Japanese.
Japanese.
I don't know if that's a real one. Again, I pulled this from IMDb. I mean, I can't read Japanese. Maybe it is on the poster somewhere, but yeah, just Japanese. So yeah, I wanted to get into I did some research here on Shunji Iwai. I wanted to cover this up front. The reason I'm doing this is because we did not give Lily Chou-Chou the modern podcast treatment we give most movies. So I wanted to cover a little bit of this stuff and hopefully it'll generate some conversation. So Shunji Iwai, that's how I'm saying it. He started with a bunch of, it'll get into it here with my description, but the first movie I'm highlighting is Blood-Sucking Tree from 1992. Have you heard of this one, Joey?
I have not.
It was an anthology horror TV special. It is noted that Shunji Iwai directed the first segment about a woman who brings home a mysterious plant that feeds on blood. It was likely produced for Japanese television. At the time, he was directing short dramas and other experimental pieces for networks like Fuji TV and TV Tokyo. These were typically shown late at night or during TV programming slots. I really want to watch Blood-Sucking Tree. This sounds so fun. I don't know if it's widely available, but I'm going to take a look. I love how, they always kind of start with horror. They always start with a horror movie.
Cheapest one, the easiest one.
I love that little poster I put in there too. I don't know. Maybe it was on VHS somewhere. Hopefully someone scanned it. Now, another big movie he made was Fireworks. Joey, are you familiar with Fireworks?
It's the anime, isn't it?
I don't think so. It's like a 1993 movie. It could be. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't actually looked up the poster, but it's called Fireworks. Should we see it from the side or the bottom? From 1993. Apparently, it brought him critical praise and the Directors Guild of Japan New Directors Award for his portrayal of a group of children in the town of Ryoka. One summer day, a group of 6th grade boys have an argument about whether fireworks are round or flat when viewed from different angles. They embark on a journey for answers during the annual firework festival. And then you have one of the characters named Nazuna, who is troubled by her parents' separation and decides to choose one of the boys to run away with. So you already got some of that teenage angst in there. But this one was really big for him, along with Love Letter, which I think you brought up before we started recording, Joey. But Love Letter is a big one for him. Have you seen Love Letter?
Yes, that one I have seen.
It's a few years before, Lily Chou-Chou. It was his feature film debut, so first actual feature film. He cast a pop singer, Miho Nakayama, in dual roles. It's praised for its evocative winter cinematography and breakout performances. It was later re-released in the U.S. under the title When I Close My Eyes. It was his first film to be shown theatrically in the United States. It achieved great success at the box office in Japan and gained popularity in other East Asian countries, particularly South Korea. I mentioned this because Joey has history of South Korea. But it was the first Japanese film to be shown in South Korea cinemas since World War II, garnering around 650,000 admissions and ranking as the 10th highest grossing general release of the year. Now, the 30th anniversary of the film was commemorated last year in 2025. I guess a 4K remaster was released in select theaters. There's not a 4K of this movie yet, right, Joey? Just Blu-ray from Film Movement?
As far as I'm aware, that's correct.
I mean, how good can it look, though, right? This thing is shot on a digital video camera.
Right. I mean, I think also, people get so caught up in 4K and shit, and that's something I just don't really give a fuck about. I think it's overrated, resolution. Of course things can look better, but it's just especially with older media, part of the ether is the way it looks,
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love in this day and age where it's everything's digital photography, but it's so clean. It's refreshing to see something shot like this. It's just very of its time. Adds to the ether. Not really that much I wanted to say about the cinematography or any of the other stuff here, but Noboru Shinoda did the cinematography. He had also notably done a bunch of movies with Shunji Iwai: Undo for '94, Love Letter, Picnic, April Story, Hannah and Alice, Swallowtail Butterfly. Have you heard of any of those movies, Joey? This guy's prolific.
Swallowtail Butterfly I've heard of. I know that's another one of his that gets recommended from 96, but I just haven't, some of these things are kind of hard to find at times, or at least to go in, we have our luck with Archive and other places, but if you don't hit the nail when you have the hammer in your hand, you just forget about it and you don't come back to it. So
that's what I was going to say. We need to start the Dan and Adam Presents Joey's Kendo Club, where you watch all these.
We can do it.
And then music composed by, we said Takeshi Kobayashi had a big part to play with Salyu and getting the sound for Lily Chou-Chou just right for the audiences that it hit with. Produced by Koko Maeda, who also helped produce Shunji Iwai's Swallowtail Butterfly, Hannah and Alice from 2004, 1 Million Yen Girl. I just love that title. And also notably, Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2.
No, nice. I had no idea about that. That's fucking cool.
So interesting to note. I mean, it's probably a trivia note on this document somewhere, but in the scene where you have, I don't know, does she have a name in Kill Bill?
Beatrice.
She does. Beatrice, yeah. Beatrice is checking out Hanzo Hattori's swords or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess that a music cue from this movie plays. I saw The Whole Bloody Affair in theaters this year, but my brain probably caught it, but I didn't in the moment. So I still haven't rewatched the scene. Do you guys remember the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's, it's the ooh music. And you don't really pick it up always. Like, I had meant to actually come back and timestamp where the music happens from the album in the actual movie. But I didn't do that. Oops. But yeah.
It's okay.
Tarantino, he likes a lot of that stuff. Battle Royale. He used the girl in Kill Bill for Battle Royale as well.
He's a known fan of this movie. I think on the podcast last time we said he likes to make out to this movie's music, and you have to picture that, making out with Quentin Tarantino.
I'm picturing it right now.
Start off with the foot rub, work your way up.
Oh God. Then you have Naoki Hashimoto, also produced this movie. Worked on another movie with Shunji Iwai and Naoto Shirashi. The Boys Wanted to See Firework from the Side, 1999. So I guess maybe a follow-up to his other firework movie. Production companies. This was interesting because it's Japanese, so it's so hard for me to figure shit out. We got Rockwell Eyes. So Rockwell Eyes is a big one. This is Shunji Iwai's basically producing and distribution arm. It's my understanding. It's basically mainly produced just Shunji Iwai works. You had JVC, just a technical partner, probably did provided equipment and stuff. Wow Wow, a satellite broadcaster. Tube Entertainment, an entertainment firm, and Oorang Shah, a creative agency or music label. This one's important because it likely had to do with the Lily Chou-Chou music and branding. Rockwell Eyes also distributed it in Japan. Nintendo Entertainment distributed it in Korea. Can you believe that, Joey? Nintendo Entertainment is involved with film distribution.
Yeah, that's an odd one. I don't know if I've ever heard of Nintendo actually distributing the film. So
maybe it's just Korea specific, but yeah, I don't know, weird. Cowboy
Nintendo,
Pictures put it out in the U.S.
For years, Nintendos weren't even allowed to be imported into Korea because, Korea and Japan don't have the best history in the world. It's kind of, a lot better the last 20, 30 years than it was the previous time. But, it was to the point. That's why, besides the fact that Koreans would also buy computers for their children for school, because education is, a highly important thing there, as it is in most of East Asia. But they just weren't allowed to have Nintendos. So they played PC games, and then, coupled with the fact, oh yeah, we'll buy a computer, but it's only for work, and then everybody's downloading StarCraft and going fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's their national sport is StarCraft, I believe.
At one time, it pretty much was, but I don't know how much people still play StarCraft now there.
Isn't it funny that Cowboy Pictures put this out in the U.S.? It's yeah, we'll put it out under Cowboy Pictures.
Right.
So it was shot on Sony HDW f900R HD camera. I included a picture here just to give you some context. It's a decent camera. It wasn't just carrying on a camcorder like the boys were in the movie necessarily. It was shot, or it was mastered in digital intermediate. It's a digital production. It was struck to 35 millimeter film prints for theatrical screenings. Now, I didn't really know the shooting dates. Joey, do you know anything about the shooting dates? All I could gather was on Okinawa, I believe that was summer of 1999, literally.
No, I don't. I didn't get into that. I mean, they talk about some of that stuff behind the scenes. There's also, I know, a bunch of stuff on YouTube that has like deleted scenes and like some of the people that were involved in the production and involved, the actors revisiting. But I didn't see anything with like English subtitles, so it didn't really do me any good to sit there and watch it. I don't know much though.
Yeah. One thing we should know about this podcast, if you're tuning in, folks, you're listening to the opinions of Dan, Adam, and Joey. You're not listening to the opinions of 18 video essays and 13 documentaries. So if you want that, they're out there. Go check them out. But filming locations, Joey. Irimode. I don't know how to say this. Irimode, Yijima, Okinawa, Japan. This is where they were on, the island, where they go to the island and encounter the man in the purple or red, pink hoodie, glasses. Mm-hmm. There are a few roads or towns. Most people travel via boat or foot. The jungle vegetation makes much of the island inaccessible. It is famous for the Iriomote cat, a critically endangered wild cat only found on this island. As of 2007, there were only estimated to be as few as 100 remaining. Look at that cute cat. You see that?
Yeah, little sweetie boy there. Little whisker spread. Just like a little tuna treat.
It's so cute. Only 100. That's crazy. But yeah, apparently only on this island. Beautiful, beautiful island. I guess that's one thing I'll say I was struck by on this rewatch is I love all the cinematography and like even the stuff where it shows Yuichi just on the backdrop behind. There's a bunch of maybe farmland behind him, but it's all flat. It's just like, well, I see why they did that. That's really interesting. That'd be hard to get a shot of that here in Arizona. It's so mountainous.
Yeah, there's a lot of great shots in this movie, and like this movie is shot a lot of different ways. Like obviously it has. I don't want to say it has a coherence problem. I don't think it's a problem. It's a feature. But how it jumps in time and place a lot, and as well as adding in the digital effects and the fact from part of it's told from the BBS boards but just like everything, the tones shift and change, but they do it so well. It's so well constructed how all those you can go from what looks like a music video to a very intimate inside shot like Edward Yang, so the
Ashikaga I don't know how to say any of this shit, man. Ashikaga Station, the Ashikaga Toshigi, Japan, the railway station. Where do you think the railway station was featured in this movie, Joey?
I would say it is in Ashikaga.
Nice. We see the train a couple times in the movie. Like at the very beginning, they're on a train station, leaving and entering. So I'm assuming that's where this was. But it's a railway train station. Originally opened May 22nd, 1888. In July 2015, it adopted Chisato Moritaka's 1993 song Watara Hasebashi as their train melody, as the song pays homage to the sound of. These are the notes, I just don't care. But the station still services 2,615 passengers daily. It's a lot of passengers, man. I wish we had like functioning railway stations and shit in this country that people used.
Yeah, I think in Korea, having the subways and stuff was just phenomenal. It's just like, oh God, why do we do it this way? We should have done it this way.
Yeah, I guess we got the light rail here in the greater Phoenix area, but it kind of sucks.
Subways. Oh, yeah, so it's like, it was just fantastic. Like the infrastructure. I lived in Anyang, South Korea, which is a suburb of Seoul. I also lived in Busan, which is fucking amazing. But, pretty much anywhere you were in a city of over 100,000, you're going to be able to walk to a bus stop within a block or two, which would take you to a subway or a train station that would take you to anywhere else you want to go and do it relatively cheap. And obviously, sometimes if you live rural, it's going to take longer. Some bus stops take longer, but they pretty much run on time. And, you just go to a little convenience store and load up your card. $3 later, you're 45 minutes away.
Yeah, one note that took me by surprise was talking about the train station is they instituted like these tap cards in like 99 basically, or 2000 or whatever. Like this technology that we introduce here and are like, wow, tap cards. It's like it's been in use for 20 plus years in countries that have functioning transportation systems. We love cars here. We're Gary Newman's Cars here in America. Everyone's like, I feel so safe in my car. The only place I feel safe. I film eating videos in my car.
Yes, get in your pickup truck and park across 3 EV spots just to, own the libs.
Wendy's bucket of nuggets and bucket of chili. So you can make a little chicken nugget cereal?
So you give me a little chicken nugget cereal? Then we have the Yoyogi National Gymnasium. Obviously, this was the indoor arena we see at the end of the film where Lily Chou-Chou has her performance. It's famous for its suspension roof design, built in 1963 and opened in 64 for that year's Summer Olympics. The stadium held the swimming and diving events. These days, it is primarily used for ice hockey, futsal, which is scaled-down soccer, basketball, and volleyball. I like the look of that entire area, and I'm sad we couldn't see the interior of the stadium.
Yeah, I did too.
I wonder what it looked like. Do you think they did a real performance? Probably not, right? They're just filming outside.
I think in the behind the scenes they talk about that, and they played the music, of course. Obviously, hear the music, and there's a screen that he goes up and he's like watching the supposed performance, but the performance there is from a music video they had recorded, which got scrubbed off the internet partially, but you can still find if you go to the Lily Chou-Chou Reddit. I
was thinking about that.
So that's what that's from. It's from that music video. There wasn't a performance inside or anything, which would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. But that music video was pretty tight. I was thinking about that. I was watching it. I was like, man, I haven't seen that music video. It must be not real or I don't know, lost content. You said it's actually available, or is it just like partial fragments from the movie?
Yeah, you can find it in the subreddit. I found it the other day. I didn't have the link up here, but you can definitely find the music video in there.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out after the show, folks. Aspect ratio, I mean, we've covered this on the other show, but it's wide frame. There's no black bars at the top or bottom. It's full frame. It's of its time. It's 2000. They're like, wow, we can just do widescreen cinematography. Yeah. Runtime, 146 minutes. It's pretty long, Joey. The original cut. Have you seen some of the cutout footage that they reference online?
Yeah, I have. I mean, there's, it was cut for a reason. There wasn't anything crazy in there. I don't think there were just shots where there's more reflective. I think there was one of Yuichi somewhere standing around crying. I don't know. We had enough. I think they were good cuts from the ones I saw. One I read was just like an extended scene from the what was his name? Kuno assault. Yoko Kuno. That's right. Yeah.
The fuck. But yeah, in theory, it's like 10, 11 minutes longer, whatever. Haven't seen any of that footage, but I think the movie's long enough, to be honest with you. This had its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, September 7, 2001. What was going on in America around September 7, 2001, guys?
Man, we were just chilling. I think there was some, what was that movie being filmed? The Great Disguised Detective with Dana Carvey. Yeah, that's what was
Master
going on,
of Disguise?
Right? Yeah, that was the big thing.
I can't wait to talk about that movie. I'm going to pick that next. You guys just fucked yourselves.
The world changed forever.
Yeah, world changed forever in America around that time. October 6, 2001, it had a general release in Japan. And then the date I've decided to focus on is July 12, 2002, because that's when it had a limited release here in the United States. It was a Friday. Just covering I like doing this. This is just something I look forward to. Notable competition for that opening weekend. Well, this is really interesting because Lily Chou-Chou opened one theater and made $3,064 in total.
I mean, I feel that's a good opening for one little theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad, but you can see how small it is. It's it didn't do as bad as the video documentary about a world fencing champ but it couldn't outpace the documentary about Holocaust dance theater piece. Unfortunately, it couldn't crack that. But around the time you had like Road to Perdition had just come out. I have not seen any of these movies, but it's a Tom Hanks 1930s mob crime comic book movie. Reign of Fire, a McConaughey post-apocalypse sci-fi fantasy film. You had Halloween Resurrection, which struck me as odd, Joey. Why is Halloween Resurrection coming out in July?
Because people who release films are fucking stupid.
That's crazy. That literally shocked me. I was like, oh, maybe they didn't. I have no clue, because July's not even a month you dump something, so it just doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's
that's
the Halloween with Busta Rhymes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really bad one. Yeah, I think I've refused. I've retired this one. I'm not going to
He like drop kicks Michael Myers out of a window, and he's like, Busta Rhymes.
I do, as a big Halloween fan, like, I don't really like the movie, but I do think it's interesting in that one how they, like, have the webcam set up, and like it's when you're first incorporating the internet into movies, as Lily Chou-Chou also is doing. And I have another movie I'll recommend later that does that as well.
That's very true. That's an interesting comparison. I mean, I haven't really retired it. I'll watch it. I love Ryan Merriman, but I remember the last time I watched it, I was like, damn, this is so bad. Have you guys heard of the Crocodile Hunter Collision Course?
No, I have not.
Apparently it was a Steve Irwin movie. Like, they try to do, I don't know, the Crocodile Hunter, and it was like a documentary or something. I don't know. Sex and Lucia, My Wife is an Actress, Spanish rock drama, and then a French rom-com with Charlotte Gainsbourg. You guys ever heard of Never Again? It was a Jeffrey Tambor middle-aged comedy film. Very fun. Metropolis had a re-release the same month. Oh, the same weekend, actually. Fuck, Tosca, Last Dance, and again, Choice of Weapons. The actual big movies of that month were like Men in Black 2. So comparatively, Men in Black 2 opened with $52 million in 3,500 theaters. So just kind of shows you the change. Only one theater for Chou-Chou and $3,000. But Austin Powers Goldmember had come out, Mr. Deeds, Lilo and Stitch, Minority Report, Like Mike, Stuart Little 2, and The Bourne Identity. One thing I wanted to talk about was the budget. This movie allegedly had a budget of 150 million yen, which translates to maybe 1.25 million USD. The weekend box office, again, was very low. This is where it gets weird. I can't figure out the worldwide gross, because where I searched it normally, it just said it made $171,781, which, to be very honest with you, seems kind of like normal. So I was like, that makes sense. If you go to Wikipedia, it has this random list, but it's like, trust me, bro, Wikipedia, no citations. And it says the movie stayed in theatrical rotation in Japan for 15.7 weeks, generating up to 4 million or 4.2 million in its opening week, and up to 25 million gross, and an additional 6 million in rentals. However, this information seems dubious at best. Joey, do you think this movie made like 30 million in Japan?
I don't really know. I don't really know any Japanese people, so I couldn't ask them if it was a thing. I do still keep in touch with some of my Korean friends, and I was telling one of my friends about it, and she said that, she remembered the movie, it was really big, but she had never seen it. But then everybody her age, because she's 40, so she would be about the same age as these kids would have been at the time. So it was well known, but she had not seen it. So it could be. I'm surprised any time somebody knows about a foreign movie. So
yeah, it's up for discussion. I don't know how much this movie made, but I kind of have a hard time believing it made much over its budget, to be honest with you. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Japan is full of film lovers that flock to the theaters, and this was their fucking Thor Ragnarok that year. So it was included in the Panorama at the 2002 Berlin International Film Festival. We love Berlin International Film Festival, BIFF. It's not an award, but it was included in like a display with a bunch of other movies. Won Best Music and Special Jury Award at the 2002 6th Shanghai International Film Festival. That's really all my production notes. We have a bunch more notes to get through and some questions to ask, but that's it for that part. Do you guys think this should have won more awards? Do you think it should have had more buzz in America than $3,000 in one theater?
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I was surprised I had never heard of it at that time. Because when Tarantino looked at this, like I said, in Kill Bill and whatever else, the same with Battle Royale. And I remember hearing about Battle Royale because of that. Probably because I like Kill Bill and I got on the internet and then they said, oh, and I think that was one of the first movies like I ever downloaded. I think it might have been the first from like Kazaa or LimeWire or something. And I had it on my laptop and I just would take it around to my friend and watch this crazy fucking movie. And everybody loved it. So I'm surprised that I didn't hear about this more so. It would have maybe been too out there for me at the time though, you know. But I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's become a cult classic now, I guess. But
you know, at least among people who collect Film Movement Blu-rays on Vinegar Syndrome, maybe. I don't know how well known this movie is, but it has a relatively high letterbox rating. I think it still has like a 4.2, which is incredibly high for that website. So I don't know, we got some trivia. Let's go over the trivia. At one point, a character describes Hoshino's mom as looking like Izumi Inamori. This is actually the actress who plays Hoshino's mom. Is that a funny joke to you guys? Do you guys laugh at that when that happens?
I mean,
that is her.
No, you know, if they're like, you know, if you had a movie and like Jamie Lee Curtis was playing, they're like, oh, his mom looks like Jamie Lee Curtis. You know?
That's basically what it is, yeah. So this is just IMDb trivia. It's kind of boring. It didn't come from my brain. But the idea of Lily Chou-Chou, the rock star, was inspired by Hong Kong singer and actress Faye Wong. I don't know anything about Faye Wong. Do you guys know anything about Faye Wong?
I don't know a ton. I have a couple of her songs that I like, and when people ask like, "Oh, who should I listen to if I like the music here?" She definitely gets recommended. And along with like the other big one is Ichiko Aoba, if I said that right. But Faye Wong was super popular in China, Hong Kong, I guess, and she sang one of the Final Fantasy songs. What was it? All Eyes on Me, I think. Yeah,
the Tupac
Eyes
epic?
on Me, Eyes on Me from Final Fantasy VIII. She sang that song. So everybody out there that played Final Fantasy would know her.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, again, I don't know who she is, but apparently that's who Lily Chou-Chou is based on. She's 56 years old now, and yeah, she briefly used the stage name Shirley Wong. I don't know. I'll have to look into her, but Ayumi Ito spent weeks training on the piano in order to do all of her scenes without a double. She became so obsessed with Debussy's Arabesque No. 1 that she made it her cell phone ringtone. I imagine Ayumi Ito is the actress who plays, or the actor who plays
Like
Kuno?
Kuno, I imagine, yeah.
They addressed that in the behind the scenes thing, and it's weird because they say, well, she didn't have a teacher, and they had to like take a video of someone else playing it and all that. But there's like different scenes where like one lady is telling her, like, correcting her on stuff, and then there's another guy that's correcting her on stuff kind of as well. Because I'm sure she didn't know how to read sheet music at first, but I would have thought she'd have probably learned a little bit, because this is learning a song like that when you've never played would take a lot of effort. But there's a really cute thing in the behind the scenes too, like where her phone does ring and she's like, "Oh, same melody, see," and everybody kind of laughs, you know.
Yeah, she seems like a very positive actor. I'm like, what are you doing in this movie?
Did I hear a cat?
Yeah, my cat's freaking out. So she also shaved her hair for the movie for real. Which obviously looks real, but it's like, damn. This Emma Stone just did that for Bugonia. That ain't nothing for us men, but for women, I imagine that's fucked up. That's like a hard thing to do.
That they also show that the behind the scenes where she's in the chair, like she shaves it herself at first, and then even Iwa comes over and starts helping out and like trimming her up, kind of like to make it look more, you know, crazy looking. Because if you watch, there's like a lot of little bald spots and stuff, and little chunks of hair that are left where it's obviously done. Where she looks like a Corey Feldman in the final chapter when he shaves his head in 3 minutes with a Lady Shaver upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and that because like they did a thing in the behind the scenes where like they all see her, but she's like wearing a hat at first, so they don't see her without her hair until they start filming. A lot of the girls were crying, seeing that. Which I remember like one time in middle school, someone cut some girl's hair and like girls started crying about it. It was a day.
Yeah, I was wondering how real that reaction is when she comes and sits down.
Yeah, I think that was the first time they saw her without the cap. If all that was translated right in the behind the scenes.
And then we already discussed the QT Kill Bill thing. So just got some rewatch notes. I do love when Yuichi asks the shop owner for the old Lily Chou-Chou erotic poster he has in front of his shop. It's like, it's free. I was going to toss it anyway. And you could see he stares at the poster, sizing it up. He's like, how am I going to get this thing home? You can see that, maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's transmitted in the scene. And then I was really confused for a minute. I'll say too, like rewatching wise, I didn't remember that it was non-linear for a while. But like, how non-linear is it, Joey? Is it really just the scene where he initially gets called and bullied? I'm trying to figure out where all these scenes land because it's not that non-linear, is it?
Well, you have the beginning of the movie is obviously happening, and they're stealing and they're doing all that stuff. And I think that's kind of your present day part one. After he gets bullied there, it goes back to there's a scene, and I don't know if this is the exact first one, but once this happens, and they start talking about Hoshino and him being first in the class, like when he met him, and he was number one. Of course, like a few scenes later, like he stays at Hoshino's house, and he like, no, I was seventh, but people keep saying I'm first, and I'm sure that person at first, that's when you go back to like before, that's when it jumps back in time. That whole area there where him and Hoshino are just becoming friends. They look at the telescope together, which was a good scene, I thought. Like they're having like a pretty good conversation for 14-year-olds. Like, do you believe in aliens? Like, there must be something, but the evidence for UFOs is not good. Blah blah blah. And of course,
that was the scene that struck me because I was like, he gets bullied and he's like jerking off, and then all of a sudden he's like going over to hang out with them, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's where the jump happens. Pretty much right after that part where, what was my note on that? Let's see. Here's a new sentence. Watching Yuichi be forced to jack off makes more sense and resonates more clearly after multiple viewings.
Yeah,
but that's where
where would you put that scene? Where does that scene come in? Is that towards the end of the movie?
Like the act, like it. Well, it's early in the movie, but like as the timeline that the movie constructs. Yeah, I would say because you. I don't know exactly. I mean, that's pretty much when his control is feigned, and like if the two young guys that are made to sit there and watch after him are also the guys that forced Yuichi to start, pretty much being Suda, Shiori Suda, the little girl who's doing the compensated dating, like her pimp or whatever, or they watch him, So I don't know how that fits in. Like I say, I think this starts there, and then pretty much once you jump back after they get back from Okinawa and stuff, that's kind of, I think it's shoehorned in there somewhere. That's what I would say.
Well, let me ask you then, Joey. Why did Shunji Iwai, he edited this movie. Why did Shunji Iwai do it this way? What does it say about the story?
I don't know. I mean, it confused the shit out of me the first time, I don't think when I first watched it until we got back to the present day that I realized what was going on. Like you say, I was a little confused too. Like, I guess this is a flashback, but I didn't know what was a flashback. And I think it was just to kind of set tone. I guess the first part, it comes in and it's like, being 14. And then it's like, how do we get here? And then the end being, I guess, I don't know, probably edit this whole part down because I'm a fucking moron. I don't know. Just leave it at I don't know.
It's an artsy question. It's an artsy question. Adam, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I don't, maybe it's just like the erraticism of like, is that a word? I don't care. Of being a teenager. You know, like it is supposed to fuck you up and confuse you a bit, I think.
I don't think anyone's seen Marty Supreme here except for me, right?
That is correct.
Well, one of the original endings to Marty Supreme and concepts was it was going to be a flashback. Like he was going to be at a Tears for Fears concert in the 80s. This movie, the movie takes place in like the 40s or 50s or whatever. And so it's 30 years, 20 plus years in the future, and he's there with his kid. And the movie was basically supposed to kind of be framed as like a flashback to his past. And that's why you have 80s music taking place in the 40s and 50s. So to me, this movie, all the digital photography, the very digital choices that are made of the time, the editing, the coloration, the purple colors, all this stuff to me speaks of like, to me anyway, would tell me that we're like remembering our past. Yuichi is remembering the past, and that's what we're watching. We're not watching a straight narrative. We're watching a recollection of events through this damaged boy who, what happens to him.
Yeah, and I forget where I read this, but there is a note somewhere about that the movie is not the actual events, it's the remembering of the events. And this is based off, I guess, get into it for a little bit now. He wrote this like as a novel first, and the novel that he wrote was based off the BBS, the bulletin board system for Lily Holick that he had opened up, and like real people were actually commenting, and real people are commenting in the book. There's things that happen. I have notes for that.
I think their comments are in the real movie too.
Yeah, they are. And even like that plays a role that if you don't know, and that's what I like. One thing about this movie is like the more you dig into it, the more there's stuff to discover, and then you go back and go, oh, well, at the very end when they're all at the concert, there's various people from the message board, because in the book, they're all saying, well, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to have this with me. That's like why he had the apple.
Bear's going to have his bear with him. I didn't see anyone with a bear, but Bear said he was going to have a bear with him.
Yeah, and like there's a character, Winter, and their name does pop up at some point. And I think in the movie, she was like the crazy girl in pink that was dancing at first. But in the book, it's a middle-aged man. And he had been emailing back and forth with Blue Cat, who was Hoshino. And that's why he had, Hoshino on the apple, or Blue Cat on the apple, blah, blah, blah. So, and even in the book, it says, I saw one of them, I forget who it is, because there were so many different, tags and names and stuff. It's like, well, I saw Blue Cat holding an apple at the concert, but it didn't look like the boy pictured in the news article that died. So it's like there's like, if you like this movie, you should definitely go back and find the novel and all that back information. It's really fun to do.
It turns into a true crime story. Like, we got to find out who killed Blue Cat. It was Philia.
I feel like reading the novel would help me, because like, I don't know, maybe I'm just, dare I say it, a little ethnocentric, where I don't know, like I can watch like a French film and follow along, but man, I feel like I'm getting myself in trouble watching any like
you better start talking.
Watching any movie, like an Asian movie, like I'm not as like.
Just say it, Adam. Just say it.
I don't get it. I'm stupid. I'm just like, oh man, what is that? The same guy?
Well, just lying. Spoiler: people in Asian countries have the same problem. And you think that sounds impossible, but no, it's not.
That's yeah.
They
white guys all look the same.
Yeah. And
that makes me think of
it does help. I mean, the novel is different. I don't know when you want to jump into that at all. I mean, you didn't read it, did you, Dan?
No, brother. I cover movies on this podcast. We'll cover the novel when we start Dan and Adam Love Reading. It's coming soon.
Okay, so I guess maybe this is a good time. Then I'll just jump in and say a few things about the novel, and we'll get that part out of the way.
Go ahead.
So, like, there are some differences from the book, and it's a novella. It's not really that long. I think it's like 100 pages or 80 pages, so you can get through it pretty quickly.
Oh,
I read
okay,
it
damn.
in a day. Yeah, I forget exactly, and you can find that also on the subreddit. Someone translated that. And that's where I found note number one of where the name Lily Chou-Chou comes from. And it explains that Lily was Marie Rosalie, who who was Debussy's first wife, who wrote Arabesque, and then he left her for Emma Bardak, and they had a daughter, and her nickname was Chou-Chou. So that's why instead of Chow Chow or Choo Choo, like I said, it is Chou-Chou. It is French, so blame the French. Adam, you should have picked that up with your French expertise.
Did you just come?
In the book, there's quite a few things. Like after, Yuichi actually has sex with Shiori Suda, the girl who's doing the compensated dating, and like it comes like after that scene where she tries to give him the money back and stomps at the ground and walks in the river, and they both cry. It's a really weird scene in the book, and the book itself is like Yuichi plays two parts. He plays, I think, Pascal. No, Pascal was Iwa coming in and doing stuff. He pretends to be Philia, which is his call in the movie. You see that a lot. Philia and Blue Cat. That's the two main ones back and forth in the BBS. And he also plays like a site administrator, Sati. And we won't get too much into that.
Eric Satie?
Yeah, I assume that's where it's coming from, right? And Iwa is the commenter Pascal. So if you see Pascal, that's Iwa. And like they say, all that was actually happening on the BBS on Lilyholic. So, that was coordinated partially, but it was also a lot of, obviously, Iwa doing his thing. Where's Mothers? Just really quick. In the book, they actually, they steal the money, but they end up asking the parents for travel money because they felt guilty about it. There's not a kendo club. They're the track and field club, which makes a little more sense as to why that great scene where they steal the money from the thieves that are stealing it from the one guy. And, it's like, get in shape, assholes. They yell at him. So they're all in the track club, so they can run circles around these guys. And makes a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they go there to see, they go to Okinawa to see the cats. That's why they want to go. Whereas I think the stranger is the one that says they came to see the cats in the movie. And that guy, the stranger, instead of getting hit by a truck, actually dies from one of those flying fish. And they bury the stolen money because they're all freaked out after that. Also, Yoko's rape that happens at Hoshino's family's old fabric company, factory, whatever else, actually happens in the gym. And Yuichi is forced to be involved and film it. And there's one big section of the book where it just says nightmare over and over after that, And also in the book, it's not Suda who kills themselves, it is Yoko who kills themselves. In the book, 10 girls are working for Hoshino for the compensated dating. But yeah, there's other stuff. I'm not going to spoil too much else.
Compensate. He's a pimp.
Yeah. Well, the compensatory dating thing, another movie, Love and Pop, which was kind of inspired by this, inspired this with the use of digital video. It was the first movie, I think, in Japan to use digital video. And Love and Pop was, who was the guy's name? It was, motherfucker.
You're seeing why I have very strict note taking now.
Yeah. Hideaki Anno, which I believe is the guy who did Neon Genesis Evangelion, and did the new Godzilla, Shin Godzilla from Japan in 2016. But that's a crazy movie.
Funny you bring that up. One of the top Letterboxd reviews for this movie is Neon Genesis Evangelion for Bjork fans.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, they do have some. Love and Pop definitely feels like this movie a lot. It's a little more creepy because it's solely focused around girls trying to do compensated dating and stuff, and it can be a rough watch, but it is pretty good. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's all I'm gonna reveal from the books. But like I say, it's pretty short, so it's worth seeking out.
Yeah, it's different enough too. Damn. I was confused at first who everyone was concerned with because everyone was like, have they been caught yet? They got to hang that guy. And I was like, who are they talking about? And it was about the thing behind me where the youths hijack an expressway bus. Kids these days are very scary. Adam noted that in the first podcast. So this movie's about, generations, right? This movie's about generations. I had a note here. Did Yuichi's parents divorce? Is that his new stepdad that we see? Yuichi has to change his last name. The man later gives Yuichi spending money and instructs him not to tell his mom. His mom is pregnant? Is Lily Chou-Chou my friend?
Yeah, I think one of my notes too is like when his mom has to go and pick him up after the shoplifting scene, and then they eventually ride on the bike together, and I'm like, how is that bike so strong? Not that she's like fat. I mean, she is pregnant, but it's like she's sitting on the hub of that. Like, how's that not like making the tire break?
I thought that was a very beautiful scene because you see him just fly right past her, and then turns out he stops and she comes. Yeah, sits on like because this comes right after she like punishes him for stealing the CD and like gets very scary and unhinged in that one scene.
I love that scene. That's like exactly how I'd want to react if my kid was shoplifting. Like just smacking him in front.
I thought
of
this was crazy. That was a crazy dog. I'm like, God damn. I love it. We'll get into it here, so I have a note about it. But real quick, the friend steals his spending money. I was like, what a dickhead. Why does this guy not have any real friends? Like all of his friends are like stealing from him and shit.
Yeah. Well, and then Hoshino becomes his friend, and then becomes his like overlord, and then they become like best friends on the bulletin board and they don't even know it, which is really haunting when you think about it.
Yeah, that strikes you as you watch the movie because things are happening and they're chatting on the thing and you're like, you just did this crazy thing. The store clerk tells Yuichi, this rots the ether, when he's caught stealing the CD. The other clerk laughs and says, he used to be a bully. Later, that clerk recognizes the teacher is escorting Yuichi, further showing the parallel between the new generation, Yuichi, and the older generation. They were kids too. Don't give your teacher a hard time. I don't know. I think this movie is also about generations, so that is wanted to note that. The mom's reaction to Yuichi shoplifting is wild. A sharp tonal snap between the informalness of the gym teacher looking motherfucker making jokes about missing baseball practice. The teachers are chill as fuck, but the mom is scary and unhinged. I like that scene too, but it reminds me of my own upbringing, which is like, oh, that's not good. Because she's just cold and distant basically the whole movie, and the only time she interacts with Yuichi is like to color his hair and then immediately leave or to snap at him, I wonder why Yuichi's finding solace in an online chat room while he has no one to talk to. One note, this is about the scene where they make Yuichi jerk himself off. I said 2 of the bullies are very gay. Why do they make Yuichi take his pants off and jerk himself in rhythm with them? That's assault, brother.
Did you just come?
Yeah, that's definitely a scene that like I don't know. I question why it's even in there, and especially that early in the movie, because like I imagine that would take a lot of people out and just be like, this is fucking filth, or this is too weird, or this is what does this even mean? It's like, I mean, outside of just controlling somebody, that's all it really is. There's not I don't know that there's a sexual component for Hoshino, that he's gay or asexual or whatever else. It's just about control, but it's very weird, It is weird, and it's on the digital video. And like,
it was Hoshino's, right? It wasn't even his idea. It was like his 2 friends' ideas. One of them had like blonde hair.
I just assumed everything happens because Hoshino lets it happen or wants it to. So
maybe, yeah. I mean, he does call it off. He's like, all right, that's enough. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, because he's the one who's like bored by it, and he's like, all right, that's enough.
That's when we have the snap. I mean, I was gonna say Lily likens ethers to colors. Breathe was blue. Erotic was red. Do you have anything to say about that, Joey? Red and blue. We have some purple scenes in this movie where it's a mixture of those 2 colors.
Well, I think I read somewhere blue was supposed to be hope as well, and green was supposed to be like sadness or depression or whatever. And so if you look at it that way, a lot of those scenes where they're standing in the rice fields and, they're standing in their depression, listening to Lily, the ether, with hope above, the sky above, and then as you get to later in the movie, they had the same scenes where they're standing in the fields, but the fields are harvested, or they're, the crops are dead. It's all bare and it's mud. They're making the one kid, crawl in the mud of the where the rice field once was, type thing. So there's stuff there, but I think it's an interesting thing to attribute colors to feelings. I used to do that more so when I was really young.
Yeah, you get people.
This song
people
feels blue.
Isn't that a thing like millennials do? They'll be like, I have aphasia or whatever. I don't know what it's called. It's where you can like, I can hear colors. Yeah, I don't think it's real.
I love
people
that.
Have convinced themselves it is.
That the one chick from Wicked was in an interview with some other actors, and Jennifer Lawrence was like, she's like, oh, the other girl's like, I have synesthesia, and then Jennifer Lawrence is like, yeah, what is this? What does this taste like? And she's like, ah,
yeah. I love Jennifer Lawrence. Shout out
J Law. But this isn't a podcast about white actresses.
Hell no. This is about Japanese people. Do you remember your friend's parents feeding you while you were at their house? Were they treating you so well so that you would hang out with their kid?
That was a part that I wouldn't say like like, what am I trying to say? Related to, only because like none of my friends had like attractive mothers, but it was a part that I could like feel. I could feel that scene because I was like, oh man, like if my friend's attractive mom was like, yeah, that's my shampoo, don't you? I'd definitely be like grabbing that shampoo.
Oh, I did notice that this time. I was like, oh, he's a freak.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have him like beat off with a shampoo or something. Like that's what I thought was going to happen.
I assume he did. Yeah.
Like, can't we just take a second and talk about how hot Hoshino's mom is? Like, it was a nice little. It was a nice little treat, right?
Yeah,
I was like, man, she's very.
Yeah,
pretty.
she looks like Izumi Inamori, to be honest.
Hey,
how about that?
No. Yuichi gassing up Hoshino so much is cringe and lame. I'm smarter than this 13-year-old. That was my note.
What is that scene again? I don't remember that.
It's just the culmination of scenes up to the sleepover, and even at the sleepover, just like, you're so smart. You came in first to your class. Oh, classic Hoshino. He's so smart when they're eating ramen and stuff. I was like, ugh. Ugh.
I watched this movie with a bowl of ramen out, actually.
Dude, ramen's
just
great. I love ramen.
Just
today,
saying.
Maybe
I was very very
just saying, I'm getting really into
this.
ramen, broccoli, and chicken. Very classic staple diet.
You got to
so
go
I was
to
saying
the
here,
Asian marketplace.
Yeah, I should. The Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast family extended universe. We should take a vacation to Okinawa. What do you guys say?
Who are we robbing? Because that's what I'd have to do to get there, probably.
Yeah, I got to find some guy. We got to rob somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I got to find some guy in a Porsche.
Do that. You guys got to find a Porsche. And then maybe hope some other kids rob them first, and then we rob the kids.
We can go to Brian and Spaghetti's house and steal all their stuff and sell it online.
That's a good idea. I love the Okinawa island a lot. Something that obviously stuck out to me again was the shijar, or the needlefish related fish in the drowning incident. I just love that when they show the photo of like, oh yeah, this is similar to this, and it just shows like this thing lodged in this guy's eye into his head, and you're like, oh my god, that almost hit Hoshino.
Yeah, that. Do
you think it should have? Would that have been a different movie?
Well, there's a thing in the iceberg where it talks about the 7 deaths and stuff, which goes into that a little bit on that end. And I think it's good that it didn't, but I think they should have let it kill the traveler instead of having it be a car. I don't know why that change was made. Maybe they didn't want it to be too on the nose since he was showing them the pictures and stuff,
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't recreate it well enough.
Could be that. Budget. Yeah. Fuck it. Just lay down. We got some corn syrup. Just lay down.
Yeah, exactly. That cut saves a lot of money. You were just saying about the guru. The guru says, in Okinawa, we say a person has 7 lives. You've lost 2, so you've got 5 left. Are you sure you didn't bring something bad here? You can't live with the gods angry at you. Remember, life is precious. I didn't use that for the opening quote, which I still have to record, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that a lot. I love the, are you sure you didn't bring something bad here? You can't live with the gods angry at you. And obviously
Yeah.
he's talking about these things that have happened to Hoshino, like he almost drowns.
Well, that's what was he trying to kill himself there? I guess he was, right? I mean, we have to infer that that was the case.
I
Or did he
think
get
based
caught in
on
a-
stuff that
something else?
we learn later. Yeah. I don't know entirely, but I think it can lead one way or the other for sure. I did want to talk briefly about the older dude with glasses and the red pink hoodie. Did he jump in front of the truck? It's not my fault. It's his.
Yeah, and
So
she
that's
just keeps
suicide,
saying
right?
that. I guess. I don't know. He's a weird character because it's like, in some ways, is that character just part of the island? Is it like, was he there to push along their journey on the island? It was very strange. I enjoyed it. Like that segment there, because everything's found footage. That it could have been the whole movie there. They could have done a whole movie there.
I guess I did want to note too, it's like they hire like a travel guide group of women. That's why there's all these women with them.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money they stole from that guy. 'Cause that seems like you'd need a lot of money to pay that many people. He's a strange character. Maybe he is like, it's like Lost and he's part of the island. And every time they see him, he just runs up and he's more beat up, has like black grease marks on his head and face. But yeah, he dies, R.I.P. Or maybe he dies. He gets airlifted out and we never know what happens. We have to assume he dies, maybe. Maybe he lives.
I assume he's dead.
Hoshino then throws the gang's leftover robbery money into the water, which is insane. We'll get into it, but I don't know. I have some things to say about Hoshino this time. Summer of 99, Nostradamus was wrong, but if the world had ended, if my life had ended during my summer vacation, I might have been happier. There's an emo note from Philia. In Blue Cat, Hoshino replies and says, it did end. Humanity's extinct. The world we live in now is the Matrix. Smiley face. And he says, if that's true, humanity's last day was September 1st, 99, the first day of school. From that day on, the world was gray. So yeah, you have all these events happening. Hoshino's being a piece of shit, and he's commenting directly with Philia, but they don't know who each other are. They're anonymous people on a BBS board. My first experience with online chat or forums was like game facts, and like those like game cheat code things or guides.
Yes, Game Facts was the shit.
The purple filter is on the screen when they're bullying the old bully, making him swim nude in the muddy puddle, which you mentioned earlier. One thing that shocked me this time that I didn't even note last time was Hoshino threatens their teacher with a note in class that says execution. And I was like, really starting to dislike this child. That's crazy. I bullied teachers, but I would never like threaten their lives. What the fuck? And this is the same teacher from earlier where he's like, hey, don't give your teacher a hard time. She used to be a kid too. Should be noted that it seems like there's only 2 teachers in this school and they teach everything.
I was a good kid. I don't know. I can't relate, buddy. I was nice to my teachers. They loved me.
No, not me. Hoshino took dirty videos of Suda and she can't get away. He's essentially pimping her out. She's 14 years old. Maybe someone should kill Hoshino? These are my thoughts as I'm watching the movie. Suda offers Yuichi her cut of the proceeds, then attacks him and tries to destroy the money when he tries to take it. Seems like she's handling her situation well.
Yeah, Suda is our tragic character the most, I think. That whole storyline, like I brought up Love and Pop earlier, and it's an interesting thing to watch. Like, I don't know if you're all familiar with like the idea of compensated dating before seeing any of these movies. But that was a big thing.
No.
Older guys paying just to hang out with teenagers or more, I guess.
I was going to say, aren't they sleeping with her every time? She's like, I got to know what panties to wear.
Not always, is my understanding from like the actual thing, like from when it actually happens over there. A lot of times it is kind of just like rent a teenager, I guess. There's a lot of things in those societies that have that. You have like the, what do they call it? Shit. Like you have
Comfort
when they go to the
women
bar.
also?
Well, no, comfort women is a different thing. That was when the Japanese forced Korean women to be prostitutes in World War II. One of the big reasons that Korea has the bad blood, besides the fact that, occupied them for a lot of history. But where they go to the bars and like they pay to hang out, not idle bars. Shit, what's it called? There's documentaries about it.
Where there's like dough hands where you have the hostess bars.
That's the word, hostess bars, host and hostess bars. Yeah. And then they have like snack bars, which is like the same thing, but it's usually like, a woman in her 30s or 40s type thing. There's a lot of
Looking for
attention.
little snacks.
Pay for
like
love.
18-year-old snacks.
In those places, you don't usually have any sex involved. So, but anyway, that stuff like that is part of the culture there, which is weird. Obviously, I don't think that people would like.
Don't like. It's one of the notes in the movie. They talk about it. There is like there's only 20 girls in our middle school or whatever. Isn't there like a giant gap between women and men in this country? In that country, Japan. So like, there's a loneliness epidemic worse than what we talk about here in America, where they've all been lonely for decades.
Yeah, I think
there's
there
an
is
entire industry around, like dates.
It's not uncommon for like it was funny because like my Korean friend I told you about, and I've been talking to her some, and like because she actually is I think pretty much fluent in Japanese as well, and had worked in tourism industry some. And she would talk about that a lot. Like it wasn't uncommon, like that she had brought up someone that she had met through work. It was a Japanese guy, and they're good friends. And like the guy has never had a girlfriend, type thing. And he's like 31, and that's like how common is it? It's more common than you would think. And I'm like, that's just kind of insane.
You can pay and like have someone cuddle with you in Japan.
Go to the maid bars or the maid cafes, whatever they're called.
Yeah. I don't know why we brought this up, but yeah, it's a lonely culture. And that's what Yuichi's having to deal with. I do want to say these teenage girls are fucking insufferable. There's a reason I was a loner in high school and now in adulthood. The adults feed into their demands. I would simply kick them out of the club and the class. I said this in the last podcast. But yeah, they beg them even though they're, they just feed into the bullying, which is crazy. And then the teacher tries to pull a fast one, right? Because he's like, oh, I'm going to make this a acapella arrangement now so Kuno doesn't play because they don't want Kuno to play. And then they tell them, and then that's what causes the whole like attack of Kuno and the old fabric factory.
Well, that guy that's like supervising, I don't think he's the actual teacher. I think he's just another student that is like the head of it.
Oh, okay.
Of the club. I think I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. Because I had the same thought too, like why do that? And I think maybe I don't know if it says that in the book or if you just miss it, because you can miss a lot of stuff in this when you're not paying attention. There's a lot to be distracted by, but yeah.
Yeah. Another note here. I love the keychains and various bits and bobs that Suda has attached to her phone. You can imagine she has a Tamagotchi to care for on there. I've mentioned this in the last podcast. I'm mentioning it now.
Well, that scene where she's in her bedroom and like all the stuffed animals, the big bear and all that, when he calls and says like, his friend wants to actually meet her like as a date. He has a crush on her, Sasaki or whoever it was. And she says like, oh, like, well, I just need to know, is this as a customer? I just need to know what kind of panties I should wear.
Yeah, I like that scene because then she keeps calling you Ichi, and then the third time she just doesn't, she just leaves it on the hook and doesn't answer. I was like, oh, it's funny.
I always thought like, it's like, are the stuffed animals and all the bling on her phone and is that what she spent her money on? She's hood rich now for being a fucking prostitute, kind of sad.
Is 14,
very sad.
14. Why does Kuno agree to follow Yuichi and go into an unmarked shed? Is Yuichi redeemable after this scene? Those are two questions for you guys.
I have to think that part of it is just because, I mean, it's like a cheap answer. I'm like, well, because the film needed her to. Is Yuichi redeemable after this scene, though? Nah, not until what happened. I mean, maybe what happens later with him and Hoshino at the outside the concert after the concert's over. I'd imagine maybe that's an act of redemption in a fucked up and dark way, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, why would she go with him? I'm not sure. Who knows what he could have said? They could have set that up better. That's definitely one little hole. In the book, they go to the gym, so it's not too crazy. If they were at school, it's like, hey, come here, But
Yeah.
as far as him being redeemable, I really hated his fucking little bitch ass when that started happening. So I was like, it was confusing. I was like, wait, I thought you were like in love with this girl. What are you doing? It's kind of like when it was unfolding the first time I watched it, just like, what's going on? And of course, that other girl's just sitting there like mocking her in the window too. But later that girl's upset about it. Like, what? There's a little bit of confusion, like unreliable narrator type shit, I guess, that's on purpose maybe. But is he redeemable? I mean, I guess he was eventually, because they're all under the thumb of Hoshino, when you have like in real life cults and coercive people, trafficked people, when you've broken someone and they just do things like this, they go along with it because they are either too, I guess, so afraid or whatever, not to excuse his behavior, but that is a real thing that happens, that, when you have a person like Hoshino is portrayed in this movie, what they do to people, that's how they can react,
Did we get an answer from Adam on those already too?
Yes, we did. You were just gone, like you always are.
How'd I get a drink, bitch?
Wow.
Sorry, I'm trying to be less misogynistic on this podcast. Do you know this place? This factory was Hoshino's family business. It went bust and his family broke up. That'd screw up even a good little boy like him, right? So we get kind of like an explanation of maybe why Hoshino is the way he is. So when he goes to stay with the sleepover, this is post family breaking up?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah, we don't see... Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? Because we don't see the dad, and then later, everyone's talking about how, like...
Well, there's no shampoo for the dad there, so it definitely is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's true.
And it makes sense for the mom to be so, like, pushy about wanting to get him friends,
And then to take us... I guess I did want to bring up... My one thought rewatching this movie in totality is I'm like, what is Hoshino's deal, bro? This is a teenager thing. My sister also went crazy when she was a teenager and did a bunch of crimes and did crazy shit. But I'm just like, man, this kid, like, I guess we talk about redeemable. Like, I don't think Hoshino is redeemable. I don't really think Yuichi is redeemable. This is some pretty hardcore shit.
Let me ask you, because I meant, you missed it. What I said is Yuichi. Is he redeemed by his act against Hoshino outside the concert? Like that is a bit of revenge, right? Does revenge redeem him?
I just replayed The Last of Us Part 2, or just played it for the first time. That game's literally about the question of the cycle of violence and revenge and how it just spirals. And it was the first piece of media I watched where I was like, oh, this actually hit me this time. I don't necessarily think revenge is redemption. It is for that one person maybe, but Hoshino's death is going to affect other people.
Yeah.
Cycle of violence.
There's a quote from Marcus Aurelius, and it's translated a bunch of different ways, but the most common one is, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Which I think is probably good advice, I don't know, because I jump on this myself. I think about where I was when I was a kid, and I had a lot of shit going on then. My parents split up when I was about 13. A lot of people, I feel like, by the time this is like the precipice of adulthood, right? 14, all the hormones are firing, so everybody's crazy, right? Everybody's sad, everybody's a bitch. But once you kind of get into that high school phase, you kind of become the person you are. And most people really just stay that person. Not to say that their interests don't change or they maybe become a better version or a worse version of that person. But it's like if you're an introvert, you're probably not going to become an extrovert, right? It's kind of set in stone by the time when you're really hitting puberty. And I don't know, very few people can change all the way, I think. So I don't know if he ever would be redeemable, Hoshino. I don't see a world where he would have stopped doing it, Who's to say?
The Kuno thing seems a bridge too far for me as a viewer. I'm like, that is like such a thing outside of what I would pictured Yuichi doing or allowing that I'm like, I don't know, this guy's, I mean, of course he's just a kid. He's just a kid, He's redeemable in the legal sense. But this is some fucked up shit. If I knew this kid, I'd be like, you're fucked up, bro. I think we're done now. And then just some stuff to really take us home. I had some final notes here that are really just about the movie itself. What is Lily? A person, a symbol, a coping mechanism, a cult, a hallucination, a collective delusion? One thing that struck me about this rewatch is everyone's obsessed with Lily Chou-Chou. And everyone's got their reasons. Everyone's got their lens on why Lily Chou-Chou is important. What is Lily? Let's start with Adam.
What is Lily? I mean, obviously, yeah, I think like a big part of it represents that, with the talk about the ether, and then like what is ether? Like what is ethereal? And it's something that you can't like really touch, reach out. So yeah, she's more of a safe haven for, the hellacious lives these teenagers live. And, it's a mask you can put on. And you go to these message boards and you can be, as we see, like Hoshino and Yuichi, they talk and they're like friends online, but then, in real life, in IRL, you don't get that sense of safety that you would get from that. Also, I would like to point out, I didn't learn until after watching the movie that Philia, I thought that was Yuichi. I don't know how I missed that.
It is.
No, are you? I thought that was the girl, the child prostitute.
No. I thought she was Bear for a second when you mentioned she had teddy bears. And I was like, no, she was dead by that scene.
No,
Yuichi is Philia.
Yeah, Yuichi is Philia. He's also Sati, and Hoshino is Blue Cat, and those are the only two from the movie that are on that board.
You do see,
besides
you do
the end
see
part,
one of the ladies. Yeah, the lady comes up and stares at Yuichi with the green apple in his hand and then walks away. She said she was going to check people out, apparently.
Yeah,
so you're telling me that ChatGPT lied to me?
Yes.
Okay.
JatBTP.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are others like in there too. Like I said, like as like the main characters that you interact with in the movie. Suda is not there. Yuko or Yoko, none of them. But yeah,
I mean, maybe she was involved with the chat room after Yuichi gives her the CD. But it's never, I don't think, made explicit, at least in the movie. And I'm talking about Suda. Sorry. So yeah, you're saying Lily is like a safe haven. It's a thing that the kids. It's just like when you're a kid and you listen to Green Day and Good Charlotte, and you're like, I really understand. These guys get me.
Yeah.
It's like rebelling when you're a teenager. Like, you like the art you liked because it probably was part of a rebellion, but it also was like, this understands me. This makes me make sense in the context of the world.
Yeah.
We see Yuichi suffer. Oh, I guess I should ask Joey, what do you think about Lily? Do you have any grand thoughts about what Lily is in the context of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would have said too, had I not been skipped over. But no, I agree with Adam. It's that's exactly what it is. Like, I go back to myself at that time period with all the stuff going on with my divorce and all the other shit going on. And falling asleep with headphones on was the thing. I would break headphones all the time because I'd fall asleep with them and roll over or whatever. And sharing headphones on a school trip, like, I remember that's how I discovered the Beatles, really. Like, I'd always heard the Beatles, but I never listened to them. And someone has it, and I'm like, oh, shit. And that's like the first time that I discovered something from someone else, I guess, as opposed to seeing it on MTV or TV or my family listening to it. And I think that's probably a big thing for kids at that age too. It's like one of the first things they're getting all to themselves, and it's new. And of course you have the thing of like a band making it and then some people disliking them because they sold out at a point. Like Green Day obviously had that problem. But that's what it is. I think she's a safe space, but you know, at the same time, she's a reflection of the people there. Because like even that, you know, that scene at the end where they're at the concert, they're arguing about her earlier work with the band Philia. They're like, oh, that's not the ether. You know, you have to like Lily the way I like Lily, or you don't understand the ether, or you ride the ether when you steal it.
The fucking ether. Do you think Lily ever sold out? Do you think this was her last good album?
Probably. They always sell out. And I would too.
I
used to think I wouldn't, but now going, oh,
you're gonna sell out?
I'll do that.
Oh yeah,
I
might
would
sell out
jump
a little
ship
bit,
on a
but within
podcast
reason.
for like $300. If anybody wants me, I'm
$300.
Come get me.
That was
Daddy's
a good
poor.
price. I'll take 300 too. We see Yuichi's suffering, humiliation, devotion, and his silence. Yet we never hear his inner monologue. Not really. We don't see his private fantasies or understand his emotional logic or moral reasoning. Why is that? Let's start with that.
Because this is a movie about teenagers, I think. I mean, you remember being a teenager? Like, did you have much like moral reasoning to the things that you did? I mean, I feel like when I was a kid, my inner monologue was probably like erratic and loud and like fed in by the music I was listening to, more so than like logic. And I don't know, but
Jim
I guess I would push back a little bit though, because we do see like his inner monologue would be him typing on the message board, right?
To an extent, but that's not real. The way we present ourselves in line is not real. This is a character, guys.
This is my real talking voice.
You better start talking.
But
I get what you mean. That's why I said not really. Yeah.
I don't know, I guess that would be mine.
You do see his over dramatic being like, I'm drowning. I can't feel anything. It's okay, Philia. I feel that way too.
Well, they have a lot of that. At the end of the novel, like he says, like people can't fly, so it's like implied that he killed himself. But there's definitely a lot of that stuff because, like, you know, like you say, it's always you're presenting yourself as a certain way. Well, at all times, I guess, you know, like say the Greeks, we all wear a mask, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about the Yuichi suicide thing. That's probably on the iceberg, but like there's the shot where it shows him standing on like a stool, and it looks like he hung himself for like probably 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to be when I first saw it, because like Battle Royale opens up with a scene like that where like the main character's dad hangs himself, and it kind of like does that same thing where it pans up. But so I was like, oh no, he's going to do it too.
Yeah, it fakes you out. Do you have anything to say about why Yuichi's inner monologue, logic, fantasies aren't really shown in the movie? He is our main character, but we do feel oddly distant from him.
Well, I mean, I think it's just to show that he's oddly distant from everything as well.
There's a thing that came up was like it's missing the point to try to question these things because it's the intention is you don't have that. Again, I think it comes back to like the childhood thing, maybe remembering back kind of thing. But yeah, interesting. I don't have a total answer, but I think it's interesting to say it misses the point to try to interrogate that. Morality and justice. The film's violence is often casual, systemic, and meaningless. Is there any true catharsis or redemption to be found here? Let's start with Joey.
I don't know. Like, I guess maybe for Kuno, when she shaves her own head, it's like she kind of takes the power back a little bit. Like how Suda talked about it. Should I get fat? Should I have a mohawk? Should I do this? So that he won't want to, whatever. And so she kind of takes her own power back a little bit. Overall, though, not really. You know, it's because it's not just a basic coming of age story. You know, it's kind of weird to call it a coming of age story because who comes to age like this? Not very many people. You know, but that's what it is. It's not like a thriller or a horror movie or a criminal movie. I don't know, but part of it maybe is just like how meaningless is it? And you just get through it.
Yeah, I would say, maybe meaningless is the point. Adam, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, do I find like any true catharsis or redemption? No, not really.
No.
I guess like this. This film does not end with you being like, ah.
Speaking of, how does it end? Does anyone remember the literal ending?
I mean, pretty much as teachers, like, you need to get your grades in order if you want to go to a decent school.
Yeah, even the teacher's like, come on, man, get it together. It is very much, it leaves you unsatisfied almost. There was a question Adam brought earlier, what is ether? It's a very similar question. What is Lily? It's a place. Is it a weather system? Is it a frequency, a drug, a ritual? One thing I noted when that shows the scenes of Yuichi in the field listening to his Walkman, Lily Chou-Chou music, is he's crying. And I was like, is he crying or is it rain? Is it the ether raining down on him?
He's crying.
What does Lily give the characters that the real world does not? This is the final question of the evening, folks. What does Lily give the characters that the real world does not?
The ether, the safe space. I think that's like I say, I remember just listening to certain things, but you never listen to like Pink Floyd and stuff at that time. That's of the ether to me, still is.
My ether at this time, 2001 was literally just Christian music, which I feel like does not give you the same, because like that's just all tied into religion. But I guess in a way, that's kind of what Lily gives the characters, and is like it's escapism.
She's treated as a religion and a cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the real world in this movie just doesn't give much other than pain, right?
Yeah, meaningless existence and pain and suffering, all while you're growing up and trying to come to your own in the world.
It's like, I think that's why that conversation when they're hanging out at Hoshino's house for the first time, they're becoming friends, and they talk about the Big Bang, and they talk about aliens, and it's kind of like he's coming to terms with being inconsequential,
Yeah. What was I going to say? Damn.
Sorry.
I was just going to relate it to my own life, like Adam was doing. For me, like the thing that this obviously reminds me of is joining the Discord that me and Joey were part of during the pandemic, and talking to my friends about Blu-rays, about some inconsequential thing, and being like, "This is God for now." And so the movie is, Ether, Lily. It's just a way for these kids to escape. It's escapism into, and we all did it when we were teenagers. I played a lot of RuneScape video games. I escaped into Fallout New Vegas for a significant portion of my high school career. So that's how I relate to this movie. And what is Ether? Well, it's, it took it to heart. Our Discord. Join the Discord, folks. Our main channel is called The Ether after this movie. So this movie... it's always been on my mind. I've thought about it, and this really brings us to the end of our show here. Adam, would you recommend All About Lily Chou-Chou?
I would recommend it. I know that, earlier there are a lot of people who are going to be like me, watching a Japanese film, you're going to be a bit disconnected from it, but I feel like that'll be a little bit in service to this movie, because you're not supposed to necessarily be connecting to the characters. You're just supposed to be kind of watching this frenetic and non-linear storytelling. And I feel like it's I don't remember exactly what I said last time about my recommendation, but I will say this movie is it's beautiful. Like, it's beautifully shot. The music is amazing. Like, I love Debussy, and I could rewatch this again and not even pay attention to the storyline and still enjoy it just like as like a visual piece of art.
What is similar to this movie, Adam, that you would recommend alongside it?
I was trying to think of that the whole time I was watching. I can't put my finger on it, but like just any movie about teenage angst, because it was really interesting to be like, okay, this is about teenage rot, but it's taking place in Japan and not America, and it's just I don't know, that felt fresh, but yeah, like trying to think of a related film. Can't do it. Are you going to do it? Donnie Darko.
God, Book 2. Starring George Burns.
Joey, would you recommend All About Lily Chou-Chou?
Yes, only if you're like into film and Japanese film. Like if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend that just likes Marvel movies or fucking dumb shit, don't even bother. In fact, break up with them. But if you do have any like inkling of like if you like the movie Battle Royale, for example, or whatever else, you should definitely watch it. For me, this is a great work of art. It goes across several mediums. I mean, they create a world, pretty much, with a Lily at the center point. They wrote all the music. They recruited someone, and they kept them purposely off. You never see Lily. She's this enigma. Then you have the novel. You have the old Lily Hollick's BBS. It's just such a creative way they did everything. It's like you can just it's peeling the pieces back. There's so much to digest, so much to see on rewatchings. It's like almost as a hobby as opposed to just a movie. If you want to figure it out, it's almost like a game. It's almost like a ARG in some senses. You go back and look through all this stuff. I think if you're into anything remotely like that, you should check it out. As I said multiple times, I have no idea how I didn't know about this until I did, but better late than never. I think there are some other similar movies that you could get into. The movies of Hirokazu Koreeda, which I will push hard for you guys to watch, are also like slice of life movies. They aren't as fucked up as this. One called Monster, which was pretty big in 2023. I maybe some people have seen that. That's kind of like it. Another one he had called Nobody Knows. This is all revolving around young people growing up way before they should. Shoplifters is one, but his whole catalog's great. I mean, everything I've seen of his, like 5-6 movies, they're all 4 stars and above for me for a rating. I mean, they're just...
Yeah, I want to see Shoplifters.
Yeah, Shoplifters is probably a good one to start with. Nobody Knows is heart-wrenching, and Monster is also good. Any of those 3 would be a great starting point. As I recommended before, Love and Pop, a little more fucked up. That is not for the faint of heart, but it has a similar feeling. It's filmed on DV, and it, like I said, revolved around the compensated dating. Other people suggest some things on the subreddit, which is like the subreddit's a really interesting thing because people play along. They with like the BBS type feeling, like Lily is the ether. People play along with that sentiment. Mm-hmm. Some of them, I'm sure, are very, very much into it. Some of them are not. But they recommend other ones like a Blue Spring, another one by Anno who did Love and Pop, Ritual, which I didn't really like Ritual very much. Those are good ones. I would definitely. I think Koreeda would be good for everybody. That's something that you could probably anybody that, Another movie I might suggest, because I do like the old internet, the beginning of stuff. I like seeing that integrated, like we talked about, even with Halloween Resurrection. There's a movie from 1996 by Yoshimitsu Morita called Haru, 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 and it's like this love story that happens through email. So. Kind of like You Got Mail, I guess, from back in the day with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, but a little bit different. So it's like pretty neat. That's a romantic thing. So it's pretty much the opposite of this movie, but an interesting one if you want another Japanese look at maybe bulletin boards and messaging and emails and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Some good recommendations. One thing I want to note before we all head out, I like how when they type the stuff, they have to like type random characters to get the kanji to show up. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I've read something that was like a converter. I don't know how that really works or what it is. I don't think that's how people normally type or whatever, or if that was just something neat for them to do. you know.
Wrong one. So that was it, guys. That's Lily Chou-Chou. We've revisited it, we've blended it, we've chopped it up, we've microwaved it, and I still feel like we didn't cover enough. So that's a testament to this movie, right? You were just saying that it's like a, what is the word? It's like a alternate, it's an ARG. It's almost an ARG.
I mean, technically it
And that's
was
really
when
cool.
it first came out with Lily Holics, you know. There were people at this website figuring it out.
And I like this movie a lot. I might even say at this point I love this movie, but it's hard to love. It's a hard movie to get through. I'm not going to give it a star rating or anything this time. I definitely say check it out. Just in general, I don't think it's as hard to watch as kids, so it's a little bit wider of a recommendation. But if you're listening to this show, one thing I've noticed about this show is not like for normies. This is like a show for people who are really into art films and cinematography and like production details at this point. So if you're listening to this podcast, definitely check this out. This is also the second time we've talked about the movie, so yeah, check it out. I'll say if this episode does well, we may come back and do maybe like the iceberg on YouTube. We'll do a live stream. But that's it for this time, folks. I really enjoyed revisiting this movie, Joey. I'm glad we finally got to get this one on the books. Finally got to some redemption for the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast family extended universe. I'll say, this is us capitalizing because it's one of our most listened to episodes on streaming. So this has a huge audience. So like the podcast, like the video.
The iceberg. You could also do the album tier list. Where do these songs rank for us? Even though you don't like ranking stuff.
We could do that.
But we got to get that YouTube
That
money.
would take some... It would take some time. I'd have to actually listen to all of it. I like the music a lot, though. I guess one question I have for you, Joey, before we all actually head out. Did you ever listen to the Vashti Bunyan and Animal Collective album that I said was similar to this?
I did not.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that next time. Next time we talk about Lily Chou-Chou. Somehow we make it happen again.
All right. Sounds good.
That's it. I'm really happy you joined us, Joey. Thanks for coming on your Saturday morning.
Yep. Thanks for letting me ramble on like a fucking moron.
And where can people follow you? Is it Joey from KY on Letterboxd?
Yep. That's all you get. Joey from KY on Letterboxd.
Do you update that pretty regularly still or no?
Well, I don't watch movies as much as I had been the previous years, but, I do try to log everything. I don't really write too many reviews, but, usually just one word, clever. Once I get past that, I get exposed. So I got to keep it concise.
And Adam, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at the following address. Boo!
Awesome.
I don't really have maybe I should. I don't really have a I'm here doing social media work right now, and I'm like, no, I don't really have social media. Follow me at Adam is Afraid on TikTok.
Adam is Afraid on TikTok. I was gonna say this guy doesn't have a digital footprint. This guy's not online. He's on Facebook. That's about it though. Try to find him on Facebook. Do you have any words of wisdom for our wonderful listeners that have stuck through another long discussion on Lily Chou-Chou?
Fuck ice. Maybe one of these days we'll see. Sorry, I just saw like bad news while I was. And so yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Bleep that.
Jesus
out.
Christ. All I got to say for you folks is that's our show. Good night.
Jazz Alien?
Bye.
Yo, we from the planet Jazz. We're here to take over your honky asses, including you, host of the show.
Jazz Alien Quano Mono invented the Big Five sound.
Yo, we're taking you to hell. You could be in hell, bitch.
White Monkey.
That's it.